Hello, welcome to Now Tell Us. I'm your host, Anthony Morore. At Now Tell Us, we get to have guests to come and tell us stories. Yeah, and if you're one of them, you're welcome to submit your story so that we can have you here to share with us anything that you may want to educate us, inspire us, or highlight a cause that is ongoing. And today we have a guest with us, and here he is. Welcome to the show, Curt.
Hey, Anthony, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, and I thank you for choosing Now Tell Us.
I'm very excited to be on your podcast.
Oh, wonderful. So, how do you pronounce your second name, please?
It's Tueffert, like Tuesday.
Tueffert. Oh, that's wonderful. But Curt is okay. I just call you Curt and we keep going.
Perfect. Love it.
Okay, here we are. So, may we know where you are from?
I'm from Houston, Texas right now.
Oh, and how is it there?
Very hot. We're in the heat season here in August and September, so we're looking forward to some cooler temperatures toward the end of this month.
Hmm. Uh, yeah, we have always been seeing, especially myself, I grew up seeing the Westerns and they highlight Texas. And so, do you ride a horse? Do you run after?
You know, when you're from the Americas, they say when you come to Texas, you're issued a horse, a truck, and a gun. And I do not have a horse or a truck, but there's a lot of stereotype regarding Texas and then Houston being an oil town and a boom town and all of that.
Hmm. You missed to mention one thing, but I know it's on purpose because I know it's a hot issue in America. You say you don't have a horse, you don't have a truck, but you have a gun.
kind of a kind of a thing here in Texas.
Yeah, I know, and it's general in America. But anyway, this is not the topic of today, so we may skip that. And we hope that everything goes on well there in the US because of the news that we usually keep hearing.
Yeah, we're definitely a country in a little bit of turmoil right now, depending upon how you see politics.
Hmm. And we pray God keeps the peace and solve issues that have been hanging on for long
I
as we do what is in our ability to face the day and have a better tomorrow.
Well said. Well said. I amen to that.
And that could be one of the reasons that we have you here because we are covering the topic 5 stones for slaying giants. And giants could be hindrances of us seeing tomorrow or having a better tomorrow. So let's dive into it. Maybe you can tell us, let's begin even when you're growing up and the experiences you had, and then how we came to this position.
Sure. I grew up in Southern California,
Hmm.
right there with the surfing and the volleyball and all of that. And early on in my high school years, 18, 19, 20, I was really attracted to the ideas of positivity, of positive mental attitude, professional speaking, people who were in the motivational game. And I thought I would change my career path. When I went to college to become a computer programmer.
Hmm.
And almost toward the end of my college career, I heard somebody speak. His name was John Neighbor, who was a 7-time Olympic gold medal swimmer.
Okay.
And I wanted to change my major the very next day from computer science to speech communication. The college said it would be better if you got 2 degrees. And so I got a degree in computer science, a degree in speech communication. And I spent most of my 20s and 30s perfecting that so that I could jump off in my 40s and start a business where I would travel across the world doing speaking. In that game, we always have a publish idea. If I could have a book, if I could do something. So I created a talk, and I called it 5 Stones for Slaying Giants. And that led me to a wonderful career of professional speaking for many years. And then I went back into the corporate world to go back into a sales management role and continued to speak. And so now I'm kind of doing both. And here I am on your podcast, excited to share about the 5 Stones for Slaying Giants.
That's beautiful. It is interesting how a single event can change a life and maybe a path or a career. And I hope that this episode here is going to change someone's perspective about life or about personal development or even business, because that's what your book covers.
Exactly.
hmm Now, can we dive right into it and cover the 5 stones for slaying giants?
You bet. So,
hmm
so the idea came from the David and Goliath story from the Bible.
Okay.
And I love the story because I loved how it all played out. Now, the backstory is obviously David went and fought Goliath with a stone.
hmm
The backstory is that Goliath in the battle had 4 brothers. We don't know if those 4 brothers were in the same battle, but I started to use that with my 5 stones. And my
hmm
5 stones for business, life, if you're in college and high school, if you're a mom, dad, if you're struggling, the 5 stones are passion, excellence, vision, value, and confidence. And I
hmm
believe that if you take those 5 stones and expand on them a little bit, even just a little bit in this podcast, you can pick up the idea and use it in your life immediately in order to make an improvement.
Hmm. And maybe we'll go step by step. And as you highlight, how does each of these 5 stones affect or influence, or how can we apply in the life that we are living, in everything that we are doing?
Absolutely. Well, the first stone is passion.
hmm
And with passion, I've got this wonderful quote in the book, catch on fire with enthusiasm, and people will come from miles around to watch you burn. And
hmm
the idea is that you and I have to be passionate, business owners, passionate sales professionals, husbands, wives, fathers, sons, mothers, daughters, teachers. There's a lack of passion, and I talk about how what happens when you lose your passion. You know, when you lose your passion, what the first thing you need to do is you need to get away, get away into a place where you can take a
hmm
pause and reflect on things that you want to get better at. And then you want to surround yourself with a group of friends, accountability people who can help you achieve what you're looking for, what you're striving for to get that passion back. So
hmm
the first stone is passion. But passion left on its own is just it's just energy.
hmm
So the second stone is excellence.
hmm
And so the idea of excellence is the idea that do your job so well that the living, the dead, and the not yet born could do it no better. And
mm
that's a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King. Passion
Okay.
is one thing, excellence is another. The 2 stones working together helped David conquer Goliath. David was passionate. He
hmm
obviously went to the battle and he said, who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should take on the armies of the living God? He was passionate.
hmm
But before David went to the battle, he also was in charge of all the sheep for his father. And he had to kill a lion and a bear in order to protect those sheep. And he did that using a sling and a stone, which was the ancient way of using a gun today.
hmm
And it's interesting because the engineers have calculated that if you take a smooth stone and you put it in a sling and you use the sling energy, if you will, and you shoot that stone out, it travels at about 110 miles per hour.
hmm
So for David to be so good, so excellent at his craft that he could take on a lion and a bear, Goliath was just another obstacle. So I believe that you've got to have an excellence factor. And what happens sometimes is we lose track of what we're really good at.
Mm-hmm.
We're really good at being a mom, a dad, a father, a son, a grandparent, a business owner, a teacher, a friend. And we get back and we get that passion and we get that excellence, the first two stones. The third stone, passion, excellence, the third stone is vision.
Mm-hmm.
And I quote that without vision, the people perish.
Mm-hmm.
Now you said in the beginning of our podcast, Anthony, the challenges of America. It's a challenge of vision.
Mm-hmm.
And again, for the politics aside, in a country like America, where we go through elections every 4 years, it's always about the vision. The red team, they're painting their vision and they rally their troops. The
Mm-hmm.
blue team paints their vision and they rally their troops. Tragically, we have a conflict of vision right now, and so the arguments have gotten so heated and so emotional that two people with opposing political views can't even have a conversation anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I really believe that with passion and excellence, the third is vision. I mean, obviously, David had the vision that his army would conquer the Philistines.
Mm-hmm.
We as adults or as teenagers or as college people, the vision allows us to move forward. Jim Rohn is a American motivational person and philosopher. He passed away a few years ago. Jim Rohn said, when your why gets stronger, your how gets easier.
Mm-hmm.
And the concept is, why are you doing what you're doing? When
Mm-hmm.
that why, that vision, when that gets strong, how you go about achieving it gets easier to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remind business owners a lot about why they got into the business, what's going on, what's their vision. I remind salespeople the vision of the customer or the prospect. And so the first three stones, passion, excellence, vision, allows us to get to the fourth stone, which is value.
Mm-hmm.
What is the value that we contribute in the markets that we serve? The value for me as a father of adult children is no longer being a caregiver or a cop or even a coach.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of being a counselor. So if my kids need me as adults, then I can be that person who adds value based on my life experience.
Mm-hmm.
The value that we add as parents, as grandparents, as husbands and wives, as encouragers, we add that value due to our excellence. We get that excellence part of our vision. We have that vision part of our passion. So we just constantly get reminded of the value that we add. Now, I'm in a sales world. I've been in a sales world for 40 years of my life. And the idea always is, what's your value proposition? What's your value add? What value do you contribute with your product or service?
Mm-hmm.
Value is always interpreted in sales by the value that the other person attaches to it. If I'm trying to get a $1 hot dog and you're selling me an $8 gourmet hot dog, I
Mm-hmm.
might not see the value of it because I only have $1 in my pocket. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's that value. So passion, excellence, vision, and value are the first four stones, which allow us to have the fifth stone, which is confidence.
Mm-hmm.
So the confidence that David brought to the army. At that point in time, they were stuck. They were stagnant. There was no fighting going on. The Israel army was afraid of Goliath because he was 9 feet tall. The commander of the Israeli army started creating a tax advantage. They said, look, if anybody in my army defeats Goliath, I will give him no taxes, free taxes for the rest of his life, and he can marry my daughter. So
Mm-hmm.
he was desperate by trying to add that value because no one in his army had the confidence. So here comes this teenager who is there only to deliver food for his older brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And he overheard the conversation and he's like, wait a minute, wait a minute. We are supposed to win this thing. I've got the vision, I've got the value, I've got the passion, I've got the excellence. Step aside. Let me, this small boy, step in with the confidence to take on this giant. And so when Goliath met this kid, he's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to rip your head off and feed it to the birds. You're just this little kid. And so the fifth stone is confidence. And I frame it around the giants in our lives here in 2022, whether it's a financial giant, whether it's a health giant, whether it's a direction, a vision, employment, a business owner trying to find out how to differentiate. Passion, excellence, vision, value, and confidence allow us to slay those giants that are before us today as well as in the future.
Beautiful, and that's very well put. And I imagine, I also love that story of David very much, and the slaying of Goliath. And something that you mentioned there, one of my favorite part is when he does the reflection, which we all should be doing in our own life. And that is what I say. When he says, okay, I'm at this point in life where I've done this, I have accomplished this. And so with God on my side, I can accomplish bigger things. I can slay this giant that is ahead of me.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's a well put.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And in your career, in as you're moving up, what challenges might you have faced along the way?
A lot of the challenges have come from what I would call self-imposed limitations.
Mm-hmm.
My mind would give me mixed messages. I don't have any value. You can't do this. Who are you to lead a sales force? How can you manage an $80 million budget? And I basically had to go back to my passion,
Mm-hmm.
excellence, vision, value, and confidence to get through my ability to compete in America's highly competitive business world. Um, Raising my kids, I have two boys and a girl. My two
Mm-hmm.
boys, it was kind of rough in their teenage years.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to go back and say, look, I have a passion for raising strong boys, but I don't have the excellence. And so I went after them in the wrong way. I have a vision for where they could go, but it was my vision, not theirs. So I had to release that. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have the confidence or I didn't add the value at the time. So I had to go to find other men who were raising teenage boys or maybe who were older than me and ask them to be my coach or my mentor to help me get through those troubled times.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And from this explanation, we get the idea that all these need to work together. You can't just go after something with only passion or go after something because there's value there, but you don't have the passion to push you up to it. So I guess they all have to work together.
I believe so, but even in my own life, even as the author of this concept of these five stones, I found myself running with too much of one stone, but not enough of the other. So
Mm-hmm.
I might have the vision, but I lack the value in my mind. Or I might have the excellence, but I lack the confidence. So when I say in that passion area, you've got to surround yourself with a band of brothers or a band of sisters. And I
Mm-hmm.
really believe that that is true as we navigate the complexities of our worlds, that I need to go to a group of people who can hold me accountable and help me to align all five of those stones.
Mm. Now, coming back to what it is that you do, what kind of people and did you work with if you have to get connected to some people who are who need your assistance on your input?
So I work with I work with a lot of salespeople. That
Mhm.
seems to be my niche: sales leadership, customer service, and sometimes small business owners, to help them use sales and marketing to move their message further into their marketplace.
Mm. And how can people connect with you? Those who may hear
The
this and say, "Oh, I need to."
easiest way is to go to my LinkedIn account. Obviously, my last name is Tueffert, Tueffert. It's in the show notes.
Mhm.
There's only one of me in LinkedIn, and so find me, friend me, use that. You can communicate with me. My email address is my last name, Tueffert at AOL.com, the old AOL address. And I'm there to help. I'm there to bounce ideas off of. I believe in paying it forward. So if I can help, I want to be that helper.
Wonderful. So, for those of you who may be joining us right now, we are going through the book by Curt, known as The Five Stones for Slaying Giants, which actually was a speech, and then it turned out into a book, and now he shared all that is in there. And you can use it, you can go and get it. I believe you can search it on Amazon and buy it, isn't it?
You can get it from me. I self-published it as part of my professional speaking career, and I can always find a copy and get it to the right people.
Yeah. And that's how it looks like for those of you wondering, how do I know when I have, because you can actually search for it to get to Curt. Yeah. So this is all about today's episode, Five Stones for Slaying Giants with Curt Tueffert. And we really appreciate you taking your time. Those who get to watch this episode, even after we are through, we really appreciate you taking your time or listening to it on our podcast platforms. Search for Now Tell Us and listen, and for past and future episodes, and this one specifically. And don't forget to connect with Curt for everything. Thank you very much. I've been your host, Anthony Morore. But before we go, let me not forget, we always ask our guests to leave us with a few words that we can always remember.
I'll just go back to the Martin Luther King quote: "Do your job so well that the living, the dead, and the not yet born could do it no better."
Wonderful. So once again, here's Anthony, and thank you very, very much, Curt. And we together are saying bye for now. Bye.
Bye bye.